Okay. Well, folks, Brent's getting down with the sickness, and I'm running on like 5 hours of sleep, so this is gonna be a fun one. But welcome all. Welcome to Film School Dropouts.
I wanted to have a lot of energy for this episode too.
No, I'm good. I'm actually good with the weird energy for once. Yeah.
Okay.
It's fine. I'm cool with it. We're good.
All right.
And Brent, why must you lead when I want to lead?
Oh, that's a great scene. We're going to talk about it.
I can't wait. This movie podcast. Every week we talk about a fucking movie from a blah, blah, blah. And this week we're talking about The Village because we're doing our M. Night Shyamalan season.
Yes, we are.
Pretty excited about this one. I had a great time watching this movie.
You don't sound very excited.
I'm a little tired, but like that's got nothing to do with my excitement for The Village.
Yeah.
I will say I think maybe a misunderstood movie in his filmography that is I feel like people have grown to appreciate it as time has gone by.
Yeah, I mean it's probably, I don't know, it's divisive to say the least.
Yeah.
But I mean,
this is the moment that like a lot of people turned on him.
Yeah.
Like people were like, oh, this fucking shit again. And like I think they were just done with him. And then he went on to have like the worst run ever, which we're about to embark on after this episode. But
do you want to talk about first experiences with it right now, or
let's talk little movies?
Little
movies first. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to start first. Maybe this will bring a little energy to the episode.
I love it.
1989.
Oh, okay.
By director Joe Pytka, I believe it is. Pytka.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I want to. I don't know, like if you keep tabs on like what movies we choose each week. I would love to go back and figure out how many times you bring a director whose first name is either Joe or John, because I feel like they're always just like some fucking schmuck named like John Jacobs. And you're just like, yeah, he made like 6 movies and like 2 of them are okay. It's always just some fucking guy named Joe.
Well, I mean, I do keep a list of mine. So
okay. I'm just curious how many directors. I want to say like 3 or 4 of them have been named John, and you're just like, yeah, I don't know. This guy made like fucking fried green tomatoes.
Well, we can check. There's a David last week. There's a John.
There's a John.
Duncan Jones.
No, that was
Jeff Fowler.
See, a lot of these kind of,
Wayne Kramer.
Wayne, that's normal.
Dan
I guess.
Gilroy.
I feel like David, Jeff, John, Joe.
Oh, there's a David Gordon Green right there.
Well, yeah, he's established.
Okay.
Anyways, who's this guy, Joe Pytka or something?
Yeah, Joe Pytka. He did a little movie in 1989. It stars Richard Dreyfuss. It's kind of feeding on my trend of like throwback classes, trying to get out of the 90s, trying to do something.
Yeah.
But it's called. It also has Bride of Chucky. She talks. Jennifer Tilly. It's called Let It Ride.
I've never heard of this. No.
Okay, some part, obviously, like most 80 movies, even 90 movies, you're like, that's not, that doesn't really, that's not aging too well. But this still, I feel like this is still a classic. It's about a guy, and the tagline is, how about this? This line should sell it for you.
Okay.
It's like, you could be walking around lucky and not even know it. That's what she says to Richard Dreyfuss at the horse track, and he bets. And he just starts winning, and his marriage is like, as the movie goes, more stakes.
Is it like a gambling movie?
A little bit gambling, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, actually, it's horse racing gambling, so it's all gambling.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm into that
movie. Yeah, and the stakes just keep getting, but it's lighthearted. It's funny,
sure.
But it's a great time.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah, check it.
What's it called again? Let It Ride.
Let It Ride. Yep,
it's a good name for a movie.
Yep, it's classic. Just check it out if you haven't seen it.
All right, and, I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to bring it back to 2021 because I've been going hard going to see all these new movies coming out.
Yes, yeah, pretty much every other text is I'm going to see a show.
Yeah, yeah. So it's been hard for me to pick like which one do I want to talk about on the show. My initial gut reaction was just to talk about Malignant because that thing's a fucking masterpiece. But I think after seeing Malignant, I was just like, no, we're doing James Wan. Like, I'm going to make us do James Wan one way or another, just because, like, that's the movie that sold me on doing James Wan.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
I've heard mixed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk about it because I want you to see it first.
I
want you to see it first.
And I love James Wan. I mean, we've said it before.
He's a genius.
Saw.
Yes.
Saw alone, is
Well, I think
put him on the, even though there's some choppy cuts in there, but
Saw's solid.
Yeah, but Insidious, Conjuring,
Insidious, extremely scary.
Well, that he nails his demons. That red and black demon is terrifying.
That thing's freaky. Yeah.
Like I remember freeze frame. Like I had to go back and pause it on the screen
like,
first time I saw it, and I was like, like just like. Oh,
yeah, and then I mean, I've waxed poetic enough about how much I love Aquaman, but like, hell yeah, Aquaman. And I think Malignant is like a fascinating. We're not talking about Malignant though. Like, I don't want to get too into Malignant. I just really liked it. I was like, maybe I'll talk about it, but because I actually want to do like a whole episode on Malignant sometime,
sure,
I'll hold off. So yeah, I went and saw that. I saw Card Counter, loved it.
Okay, that's the one I brought up a couple weeks ago. Or
yeah, both of these I think you brought. I think you brought Malignant and you brought
yes,
the Card Counter.
Ooh, and just off top of your head, which one did you like more?
Malignant, but I did really like the Card Counter.
Okay.
Malignant. Okay, here's my whole take on Malignant. No spoilers, has nothing to do with the movie. It was a movie in which I was watching it and I'm like, this is a pretty good horror movie. And then like the second half of the movie, I was just like cackling with glee throughout the entire like last probably 30 minutes where I was just like, this is fucking insane. I can't believe he's doing this shit. It fucking rules. So I just had a blast at Malignant. But
sweet.
The movie I'm talking about, much smaller, little horror movie, came out probably like 2 weeks ago. Not a big release. I feel like not many people. I barely even heard of it. Almost kind of went by me. But it's called The Night House.
Okay, yeah, I do remember seeing a poster for that.
Yeah. Directed by David Bruckner, who I don't think has done much else. Seems like he's worked. Oh, you know what? He did probably one of the shorts on VHS, which I never saw. That like horror movie with a bunch of short horror movies in it.
Pretty good.
I've heard VHS is good. I don't know which one he did, but yeah, he did some stuff on VHS. But his new movie, The Night House, stars Rebecca Hall, and it's definitely in the vein of like a Hereditary, where it's like kind of artsy and slow, and one of those like more contemplative. It's all about grief, but much like Malignant, I was sort of. It never gets as fun as Malignant, but it has the sort of effect on me where I'm like, oh, this is like doing something a little bit different. Like I wasn't expecting this to go in all these like weird directions. Again, I'm not gonna I don't want to give away spoilers because like it's a relatively new movie, but. It's a slow burner of a movie, and Rebecca Hall just gives an outstanding performance.
Just kills it.
She crushes it, and there's one jump scare in it that like really rocked me. I was just it was an impressive jump scare because it was done in a way it used like stuff that jump scares don't usually do.
When you say that, it takes me to the Invisible Man, the dinner scene.
Oh God.
Because
we've never talked about the Invisible Man on the show.
No, we haven't. But
no,
I mean, when I think of like coming out of nowhere. Type.
Yeah, this one literally it comes out of nowhere. And the cool thing about the jump scare, most jump scares are a little cheap, and it's like something will fucking run in the shadows and
yeah. The more I watch movies, the more I kind of am gravitating away from jump scares.
Yeah, they're fun, but cheap. They can just be cheap. This one was interesting because like. The jump scare happened and then like you didn't get away from it. Like it just kept happening. Like you had to stay in the fucking horrifying moment for like a solid 20 seconds. It wasn't like, woo, it was like, it's just screaming in your face for a while. So it was cool. Okay. But great movie. Yeah, I really like The Night House.
Sweet. The Night House.
Check it out.
What did you say? Did you say the director?
David Bruckner. Yeah.
Bruckner. Yep. There you go. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess it's time to take a trip to a little village in the woods.
Ooh, so spooky walking around in the woods.
By the markings we find this morning on our homes, I feel they were warning us. We may question ourselves at moments such as these. Did we make the right decision to settle here? I fear our days of peace are over.
Tell me about the first time you saw The Village.
Okay. I don't really remember, if I'm honest, because I've probably seen this movie like 3-4 times now. I feel like the first time I watched it was like definitely not at the theater, but like a home video. I don't know if it was at my house or if I watched it with my dad or something like that. And I just remember the twist happens. Well, there's like 3 twists in this movie, but like, the last twist happens. And I did have the feeling where at first I was like, wait, what? And like, I liked it, but it was just like, all right, that one's a little bit out of left field. Like his other twists are kind of embedded into the movies. And he like at least leaves you breadcrumbs to follow. Whereas this one, it's just like at the last second, he's like, and by the way,
it's like it's a full 90-degree, full one, sharp turn.
Exactly.
That no one was.
And honestly, like I don't even know if I liked the twist at first, but as I've watched this movie again and again over the last couple years or whatever, I guess a lot of years because this came out in like 2005 or something like that. But yeah, like since this came out, I have just grown to love the twist so much. And spoiler alert for The Village, we're going to be talking about the twist of The Village.
Yeah, I mean, we can't really review The Village without talking about one of the most divisive twists of all time.
What? Yeah, like
no, I remember when I went to one of the normal movie theaters that I always went to back in the day.
Yeah,
I was watching it, and I was freaking so excited because it was coming off Signs, and I love Signs, and it's just look at the last few movies. Like these are pretty much the same reviews that I gave like at the time. Right. Like I love these movies, so I'm just like ecstatic to see this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time I'm like, oh, this is like I'm scared. Like this is a scary movie for me.
It's
like
spooky, yeah.
This is the thing with this movie. Once you see it, it really diminishes its effect because you can't escape it once you know. I tried, just like I do with every movie, to start like it was my first time going in. This was by far the hardest.
Yeah.
Because it's just, what it is. And it's just like but that brings me back to my point. The first time I saw it, I was actually terrified of these monsters were
scary. I still think they're scary.
I'll do it right now. I got to talk about the creature breach.
The creature design.
But that whole shot, there's one particular shot that is so amazing, and you see all of it, and everything is just.
Oh yeah.
But no, and then the twist happens, and I remember leaving the theater, and I was like, I don't know about that,
Yeah.
Because even the twist right before it, he still plays into it a little bit by keeping the myth alive. Like
that's the thing. He does like a twist, and then he kind of backtracks on the twist.
I love
and then he's like, no, it was a twist.
So much. Like that backtrack was everything.
That worked. I was
it was a huge plus.
Okay,
and
cool.
then the extra twist was like,
See,
and I think remember leaving the theater like, what, man?
Do you still feel that way?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that like the first time I saw it, that the final twist of the movie, I was just kind of like, well, I mean, yeah, I guess I would have never thought of that. And that's pretty fucking wild. And then like, the thing about The Village is I've always fascinated over like, what if this is like a thing that happens? Like the concept of like, there's like a secluded village and they have tricked everyone into believing that it's like 1890 and they just live their life. Even if it's like 2005, they're just living. I think that's a fascinating concept just in and of itself.
Yeah, it's believable. I mean, shit, there's, tribes that live in.
Oh, there's crazy cultists and shit who do wild. Yeah.
Like, you can even make a case for like the Amish using data technology.
Sure. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't want to offend the Amish, but
I mean, obviously the big difference is they are a part of fucking society, whereas the people in the village are like, like stuck in a valley.
I'm saying the one group I don't have to worry about offending on here is the Amish.
Yeah, they're probably, I don't think we have any Amish listeners, and if we do, how do you feel about the village?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we got a new.
I'm ready to get all up into the village because I have a lot of thoughts on the village. Mostly positive. I really like this movie, and I think it ages pretty well. And I think that the twist like has just grown on me again and again and again.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're coming at this from different angles because usually, so far with these M. Night movies, at least starting with The Sixth Sense, you and me have just been like, "Yeah, fucking great, knocked it out of the park. We loved it." So I'm glad that you're a little bit hesitant on the twist, and I'm a little bit more in on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to let the twist like make or break it
Mhm.
by any means. Like if if the car is running smooth the whole way and stops a little bit before the finish line, it's still traveled pretty far. Like, I don't know. It's a weird analogy, but
No, that's a good analogy, and I'll go with it. I think that the car travels most of the way and then like turns left like 4 times and then somehow gets across the finish line, and you're like, oh, I didn't think it was actually going to. Okay, it got across the finish line somehow. That's
sure.
Cool. Right on.
Well, I think partly it made it across the finish line on the performances of Bryce Dallas Howard and Joaquin Phoenix.
Okay, so one thing I want to set up for this episode before we get into it. I watched this one with my girlfriend, and she has never seen it before. And I told her nothing. I was like, I'm not even going to tell her there's a twist. I'm not going to tell her it's baffling.
She probably had heard.
No, she didn't. She didn't know shit about this movie. She didn't know anything.
Director was M. Night.
She knew that like the director was M. Night because we're covering him.
Yeah.
But like she knew so little about the movie that like when the credits started rolling, she was like, holy shit. Like what? Because of this, first of all, this cast is
stacked.
The opening credits are exciting alone because it's just like so many great actors show up. But I want to just set that up because like I'm going to keep coming back to her reactions throughout the movie.
I love that. Yeah,
because she's never seen it. She didn't know anything about this movie, so it's
Perfect.
A good fresh pair of eyes. And I made sure I didn't say like, oh, there's a cool twist. I didn't tell her how I felt about it. I was like, yeah, let's just watch The Village. And she had a lot to say, and it was great.
So we're gonna get a little Jessica feedback today.
That's right. Special guest star, the opinion of my girlfriend.
Nice. Let's talk about the cast. So
okay.
We got.
So Joaquin's coming back.
Yeah, well, I know this was Bryce Dallas Howard's big breakout.
This is her. Yeah, this is her.
This is Welcome to Hollywood. You're going to be here a while.
Well, I mean, she was already Hollywood royalty, but like, yeah, this is like her being able to step into the spotlight.
We got
Joaquin, Bryce Dallas Howard.
Do you like Bryce Dallas? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love her in this movie. Like, I think she like just fully crushes this movie.
Yes, she crushes.
I think she is a pretty good actress. Hasn't gotten like a ton of like great roles. I will say the other thing, I think she's incredible in this movie. I think she is outstanding in that episode of Black Mirror that she's in.
I almost said that. Yeah.
Those are the two things where I'm like, yeah, sign me up.
Yeah, I don't know how much she wants it because like you mentioned that she is royalty and she really doesn't
she's Ron Howard.
Need to like,
also, she's gotten into directing lately. I know she was doing some directing on like The Mandalorian. Right. So maybe that's kind of where she wants to go. But
just like her dad.
Yeah, and she has a weird career where like I feel like she came out of the gate kind of hot and then she just kept playing characters who were like borderline like unbearable.
Well, I mean, she clearly you take roles in Jurassic because you want the money. So I mean,
sure. I mean, I did not see that movie, but like
either of them.
I didn't see those fucking movies. You know what? That's another franchise where I'm just like, no, they only made one movie, Jurassic Park, the first one by Steven Spielberg. It was perfect, and they never made another movie.
No, the second one wasn't bad.
It's not good.
It's what?
Whatever.
All right.
Know. I'm sure we'll talk about it, but like, yeah, you know, she I don't know. She plays the evil girlfriend from 50-50 who's like, oh, you have cancer, gross. She's like really unbearable in that. She plays a lot of like weird grating characters. You're like, God, I hate you. And I don't know why she did that for so long. It's probably not great for her career, but whatever.
Well, I mean, she was I think Gwen Stacy and Tobey Maguire's
Spider-Man.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, there she is. And I was like, because I feel like wasn't that right after kind of right around time as The Village, or like she had you're right though. She had a little hot start.
Yep.
So yeah, she's solid. I think she's. I don't know. We've probably seen the best of her though.
I mean, like,
and that's fine. Yes, I'm not.
That's fine. That's totally fine. And I think that this is her best performance. And I don't mean that in any kind of bad way. I think she's like incredibly good in this movie. But Joaquin, Bryce Dallas Howard, and now we just get into like just a murderer's row of supporting characters.
So we probably should right off the bat talk about Adrian Brody and.
Okay, let's get this out of the way. Let's get this out of the way. So Adrian Brody, just before this movie, made a little movie called The Pianist and wins a fucking Oscar for Best Actor. And then he's like, you know what I'm going to do to follow it up with? And he does this, and it's not great.
Yeah, it's problematic, but I mean, what are you going to do?
It's just not great. Like as soon as you see him, you're like, oh, he's playing a character who's got kind of like a weird, oh no, that's oh yikes. And it just gets worse and worse throughout the movie.
Yeah.
So I mean, listen, in the immortal words of Tropic Thunder, you never go full retard. I feel like this is the movie that they're making fun of, right? This Tropic Thunder was like 3 years after this? Feels like this is because and then after this, Adrian Brody's career is just like, I don't know, let's put him on ice for a little bit. Let's not deal with that for a while. It wasn't
a good call.
It's a terrible call.
Oh man. And I was thinking because they actually did get, and not mentally, like he portrays like a mentally disabled person.
Yeah. Like, but in the worst way that movies do this, where it's just like vague, like he's not playing anyone who like no real person has the mental disability he has. Like he's playing a Hollywood fictional character with a Hollywood fictional mental disability, just to make us feel bad. Like that's it. It's not like he actually has like Down syndrome or any kind of diagnosable thing. He's just like, yeah, there's the special guy.
Yeah, it's not.
Listen, it's not great.
It's not good for M. Night. That's for sure.
No.
Yeah, because it was also with M. Night, like you kind of get this vibe that he's like, I don't know. I feel like M. Night tries to get mystical with it, and like,
yes, yeah. Well, I'm glad the movie doesn't ever go
off the
quite
bat,
there.
Like the dinner still, like near the beginning, the opening dinner scene.
Yeah,
he hears like the bells or whatever, and I don't know. It's just like
everyone's nervous about the monsters, and he's just like clapping his hands like
right. And it just came off as like, I don't know.
I am glad that the movie never makes him like the magical special person. Like he doesn't ever have like any importance.
That's one route. That's one road he was thinking about taking. I swear.
You could tell he like looked down that road and was like, maybe I'll go down there.
Full Stephen King with it.
Yes. Oh gosh. So Adrian Brody's in this movie. It's not great.
Other than that, I really am a fan of Adrian Brody.
I like Adrian Brody a lot.
He can act like crazy, and it sucks that this happened to his career because he's bounced back a little bit, but
he's bounced back, and I don't know that he was ever going to be like an A-list leading man just because like look at his face, but he's bounced back and he's got a crazy face.
Nose.
Listen, I love it. Oh, hold on. Listen, I just want to say this is a pro big nose podcast. I love people with big noses. I love a big nose, and he's got an iconic nose.
Shit.
But yeah, he goes on to just have like a really good kind of character actor, B-list leading kind of, which is good. I think he's great in that role, that zone.
You keep saying B-list, and it just makes me mad every time because I think he's got chops.
No, I don't mean that. I don't mean like he's like B actor or anything like that. I'm just saying like he's never been like at the top of any. I mean, he has an Oscar, so I guess maybe I should shut my mouth. But like, he's never been. He's not going to make your tier one ever.
Well, I mean, if the others retire, maybe. No.
Yeah.
Who else?
So we got Adrian.
We got Sigourney Weaver.
We got to talk Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah,
we got to talk the Big Hurt.
You know I love her.
Yeah, I think she's great in this.
I have no problem saying I'm a super fan. She's my Lieutenant Ellen Ripley. It's just iconic. She's great here.
She's super good in this movie. Yeah,
she
doesn't have a ton to do. But
mom. There's like a subplot with her trying to romance William Hurt, who's the next one on the list.
William Hurt's in this. Brendan Gleeson.
I was just because we can wrap up something like Sigourney Weaver. That's it, pretty much.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Plays Joaquin Phoenix's mom. She has a lot of great small acting scenes where
exactly.
I'm like, oh yeah, that's why she is who she is, because she's that good.
Yes, she was given nothing to do with this movie. Like her role is, like you said, like her whole plot is like every now and then she's like, hey, William Hurt, like you're cute, I guess, And
it's barely that, yeah.
Exactly, it's barely that. And I think the magic of Sigourney Weaver in this movie is like there'll be a scene, like for instance, the very early scene where Joaquin Phoenix comes in and he's like reading the note about how he wants to go to the other towns, and she just has this. She has this really good look where she puts her hands up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, okay, that probably wasn't in the script at all.
No, that's how you know that's her talent.
She's like, I can do something with this.
Yeah. She's great.
Yeah. She's great.
And I actually didn't even like just to wrap up her storyline, her little subplot. She was like happy that William Hurt didn't like reach for her hand and like,
yeah, that's cute.
No, I didn't like that.
No, it's cute because her son said
because everyone loves
cute.
rejection. Whatever.
We cute. William Hurt. He's Bryce Dallas Howard's dad, and he's doing some real William Hurt shit in this movie. I think he's good. He's okay.
Yeah. So Bryce Dallas Howard plays Ivy Walker.
Ivy, and her sister is immortal. Fourth lead in a movie, Judy Greer. Judy Greer, who should be the lead of every movie, and for some reason always just plays like the sister or like the wife.
Well, I don't know. Maybe that's a sign.
I don't know, because every time I see Judy Greer, I go, she's kind of the best part of this movie.
Really? Are you saying that about this movie?
I mean, she doesn't have much to do. She's got like one scene where she professes her love to Joaquin Phoenix.
All right, so
pretty funny.
My very first note is solid Judy Greer comedy.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, she doesn't get much to do.
Very first one.
She just shows up and she's like, I'm going to go way too high over the top with this. And then like that good edit to her crying right after she like professes her love. Good stuff.
Even better. That continuation into her crying is being consoled by seeing Ivy Walker as the introduction to the lead.
Yeah,
pretty much. I swear. Oh man, I thought Bryce Dallas. I keep thinking maybe that's how good because I did think she was slightly better than Joaquin here.
Bryce?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let me introduce everyone else. Judy Greer, great. Brendan Gleeson. Brendan Gleeson, probably top 5, like just favorite character actors of all time.
With like nothing to do.
He just shows up, has the most presence ever, and then like that's all you need. Honestly, we've said they have nothing to do for a lot of these characters, which is kind of true. Even Joaquin Phoenix, the co-lead of this movie, kind of has nothing to do.
No, there's a lot where he doesn't do a lot of time where he doesn't do anything.
Right. I think Joaquin is bored in this movie. I think I can tell that he's kind of like, this material's not that great. But I do think there are like 2 scenes where even though I can tell he's like not super invested in it, I'm still like, well, that's Joaquin Phoenix. Like he's still absolutely captivating to watch.
I feel like he read the script and was like, I'm gonna turn it up because I just felt like he you can tell when Joaquin is really trying here when he's like quivering.
Yes.
And he's like, I don't know. I felt like after this movie, he's like, I don't want to do any more quivering for a while.
I don't need to work with M. Night again.
Because he's been doing weird shots and just really hamming it up, I feel, and it's not a bad thing because he's a spectacular actor, but you could tell I feel like his M. Night's scripts were wearing on him a little bit here.
Yeah. I think he might have taken this movie because he's like, well, he got me that job in Signs and that made me a lot of money, so I'll do him a favor. One of those things.
Did this make money real quick?
Village made quite a bit of money. It had like a huge, gigantic opening. And then I think as everyone went and saw it and then told their friends about it, it just had a massive drop off. Like it's got just one of those big openings. And then everyone was like, no, fuck this. And then the drop off was pretty huge.
Word of mouth.
But it still made like, I don't know, like over probably like $130 million. Ooh, man. I'm looking at like the box office stats for The Village when it came out. It's 2004.
Yeah.
First week, $50 million. Second week, 68% drop off, $16 million. So,
oh wow!
And by week 5, it's making less than $100 million, or making less than $1 million. So, like, humongous drop off.
Less than $1 million. That's
by week 5.
Yeah, that's big time.
But I mean, the movie still made like $250 million worldwide. So
that's all they care about. If it's making money,
no one's upset about that. Yeah, I don't know. We've got pretty much and Jesse Eisenberg. He's in this movie.
Yeah, does he even have any lines?
I don't even know if he has a name.
No, but Michael Pitt does have lines.
Like Michael Pitt. Yeah, I forgot about Michael Pitt.
I'm always a fan of Michael Pitt. Good seeing him. Yeah.
Okay. My girlfriend says the same thing. She's like, I fucking love Michael Pitt. And I'm just like, who is Michael Pitt? Like, what is it that people like him from?
I mean, he won me over in Boardwalk Empire.
Okay, sure. Maybe that's the thing I missed out on.
And the second season, he just, incredible.
Yeah, okay.
But Buscemi was incredible too. Oh, man. That show's great.
All right. So, yeah, Michael Pitt's got like 2 scenes. Anyways, I don't know. Let's get into like, I don't want to go fucking talk about the entire plot of The Village because it's so dry.
No, I do want to talk about the cinematography because it kind of sets up our location. We're deep in the woods. We're back with very heavy color themed, just like The Sixth Sense with all the red. This time we got red and yellow.
Red is the bad color.
Right.
Okay, so all right, let's start getting into the shit. So yeah, you just mentioned the cinematography. I think this movie fucking looks great. Roger Deakins, just all-time GOAT cinematographer. He shot this movie, which is crazy to think of. Like when you get into these really bad, and I don't consider this one of them, but like when you get into like looking at M. Night's filmography and you're like, half of these movies are really fucking shitty. And you start looking at the talent he has attached. It is baffling where you're like, Roger Deakins shot The Village? That's crazy. And like James Newton Howard comes back and does like his 4th score in a row for him, which is, you know, at this point, they're obviously just collaborators. So that's cool. But yeah, getting Roger Deakins on this movie is a huge freaking deal.
It's absolutely gorgeous. There's some, I always think of cinematography, like if I could pause it just on any shot, would I like look at, would I like that frame, what I'm looking at? And like, for instance, The Master, any single time I paused it, that's why I was like, that's number one as far as most gorgeous. This one is really close. Like, this is a gorgeous looking movie.
I call that the poster test. If you pause the movie at any point, could it be a good poster?
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, this movie's got a ton of them, but yeah, you got Roger Deakins behind the lens, so it's going to just look outstanding regardless. But yeah, I mean, let's just talk about what the movie is. It's like a period piece folk tale kind of horror movie. That's sort of what he's going for. It's more spooky than scary.
Yeah, the town has built up this legacy of terror that is associated with these monsters that wear the color red.
Yeah,
that's the bad color. So anytime they see red, they got to cover it up. And it does add to this sense of like, whenever you do see it early on, the two girls are. I actually made a list of hobbies that, because it's, you know,
what you can do in Covington.
Yeah, because I mean, it's dated. I was just like, what? This might suck. You know, of course, I'd be like Joaquin Phoenix's character is trying to leave constantly.
Joaquin Phoenix's character to me is just like a man who's so depressed because there's just nothing to do. And the brief excitement that he gets is like, maybe I can like go into the scary woods and like go get medicine. And like, even that doesn't get him that excited. He's such a dull character.
You're telling me he doesn't want to sweep the porch and spin around? He doesn't want to play Scaredy Stump?
Scaredy Stump's hype.
Is it though? Again, I get it. He doesn't want to wrestle with Noah. And
I wouldn't want to wrestle with Noah.
Well, the other two, after Noah was put in timeout, started wrestling too.
Yeah.
Another hobby he could
sweep the porch and spin around. Just sounds like something you'd see in every Terrence Malick movie.
Well, this one he ended up doing.
I understand.
He was yarning.
Yeah.
So he did yarn. So maybe that's
everyone's yarning in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do it. But those are some of your hobbies. In the village.
Shit sucked back in the 1800s, and I understand that this movie's not actually set in the 1800s, but like, I can't imagine how boring it is. Just like go outside. It's nighttime. You gotta look up at the sky for a minute and be like, well, I guess I'm done with my day because like there's no lights. You can't fucking do anything.
Yeah, no, there's nothing. Like play catch or something. Like, I don't want to wrestle Noah again.
No, he's so strong.
Don't tread softly. I do like there was a pretty cool shot early on, like right, we talked about that funny because Judy Greer's, that's kind of, we'll talk about what else happens to her character later on, but when she's asking William Hurt, her dad, about taking Lucius's hand in marriage, that's Joaquin Phoenix, there's a very long shot and the wind picks up and it just, the sound had to have been incredible for them to pick it up at that distance with that wind, because the wind didn't even start there, and it's a long shot. It was great.
No, you make a good point. I think the sound design in this movie is also very, very good because it is just one of those, you know, it's supposed to be like a 19th century horror movie. So a lot of the horror has to come from like creaking floorboards and like wind, like or rustling in the bushes. Yeah,
later on there we'll talk about, there were a couple of solid jump scares. Like
there's some good scares in this. Yeah.
But I just that was one of the. I don't have a lot to say about the sound, but it's one of the first early shots in the movie, and I was like, wow, that's impressive. That
pretty good.
In that long shot also. So
love that.
Yeah.
So you get So the movie starts off basically. Brendan Gleeson's son has just died of some kind of sickness.
Oh, dude! Whenever a movie starts on a funeral, it is just so rough.
Yeah. Anyways, Brendan Gleeson's son is in a little tiny baby casket. It's very sad. It's so sad. He's like hunched over a little tiny casket, and you're like, oh Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's the opening shot. Is
it really
death.
Is. Yeah.
We find out later, he ended up. You know why he died?
He was sick.
Yeah, and they don't have the medicine.
Right. Because
Okay.
this is so it's like a shitty old town, and like they're secluded in the middle of this valley, and they're surrounded by these woods, and there's all this fear, like you said, like, oh, you don't show the bad color, which is red. It attracts those who we don't speak of, and we have a truce with them not to go into their woods, and they don't come into our valley, and like there's just all these rules being set up. Very rules heavy movie.
Yeah, to instill fear.
Exactly. It's just to instill fear, and like they also have that sort of xenophobia about the other towns, where it's like, oh, don't go to the other towns; those people are wicked.
Well, I feel like that just adds into
it. Is
just,
yeah.
This movie is very fear based. Honestly,
it is.
It's we talked about.
I think that this is okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and like just throw out what I think. One of the big things I love about this movie, I think this is a fucking pretty good 9/11 movie, and the like reaction to trauma and wanting to just like completely shut yourself away from like a horrible thing that's happened. Okay. I think this is pretty good at capturing that feeling. Sure. It's a little like
even nowadays. Like, I see a meme that says, "Oh, I want to go live in a cabin for so people still want to do that." But
right.
Yeah, no, especially after 9/11, that was a big thing, especially with like outsiders and whatnot. But
yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. So yeah, Brendan Gleeson's son's dead. And really quickly, we just sort of get rushed along. This movie is actually more of a romance than anything else. And we get rushed along into like, okay, so Judy Greer basically proposes to Joaquin Phoenix, who just like po-face just doesn't say anything to her, and she obviously gets rejected. And this is when we meet Ivy, the actual lead of the movie.
Yeah. I love that. I love that introduction, how it's just, you don't even get a name, you don't get a face.
So cool. I love this character so much.
It's great. That's a very pretty slick mechanic, introduce a character like that. So yeah, definitely a fan of that.
So she's blind, and her hair is the bad color. I don't know what else to say about Ivy. She's really fun. She's really optimistic.
Her hair is not the bad color.
Her hair is the bad color.
No, she's not. She has orange hair, and blood red is the color. I'm just
gonna say red.
No, it's orange. But anyway, she has a nice, like, early on you meet she's very insightful, Ivy.
Yes.
Right off the bat, she's talking to Lucius about why he turned down her sister after it.
I love that scene where she's like, "You stopped holding my arm," and all that stuff.
Yep.
That's all great. It's solid. A lot of like he just sort of like lets you know what the relationships between people are. And I think, I mean, this is slight praise, I guess, but like with a movie that has this many characters and this many big actors, it's sometimes tough to like really quickly get you to understand who's who and what their relationship to everyone else is. And I feel like pretty quickly he's just lays out the dynamics between everyone in the town, and you pretty much get it. Like, you're not really confused about anything.
No.
The only thing I'm ever confused about when I watch this movie, I'm like, okay, wait, who are Noah's parents again? It's always just like that white couple in the corner that doesn't really say much. And you're like, they kind of look like everyone else, but yeah, sure, those are his parents. Those are the only people who I'm ever like, is it Cherry Jones? No, it's not Cherry Jones. It's the other people, I think.
No, but I like her. I like pretty much everyone in the town. I was like, I like it's Cecilia Weston as Vivian Percy, I think.
She's okay. Oh yeah, it must be, because Noah Percy's his name. So yeah, you get introduced to Noah, and like Ivy is obviously like good friends with Noah. She's like good with him. She knows how to like talk to him and get him to like behave, and she plays with him and she's nice to him. And you also find out that like Ivy and Lucius have like a quiet, unspoken love for each other. And for some reason, they've never acted on this.
Yeah, I like it. That all works for me. I actually
listen, any movie that deals with like people who are like repressing their love, I'm always like, yeah, I'm in for this shit. I'm all about repression. I love this.
Yeah, I love everything, that whole dynamic. That it's really nice. Even though, like we talked about, Joaquin Phoenix, he's not, I don't know, he's just comes off as a little mechanical every once in a while. Yeah. But I think it's the dialogue too. Like, I'm not like wanting them to, because these most of the time these characters are kind of cold. Besides like the insanely overly positive Noah just because.
Oh, and Ivy. I think Ivy is also breaking the mold.
Ivy is pretty positive.
She almost feels modern in this setting.
Yeah, maybe that's why I liked her so much. I'm going to spoil it right now. I wrote it down as my favorite character.
So. Yeah, she's absolutely the best character in the movie.
Sweet.
Sure shit ain't Noah.
No. That's a problem.
No, it's not good. We don't love it, folks. So Noah and Ivy are like playing, and they see Lucius, and like then you find out Noah's been picking red berries out of the forest. That's a no.
Yeah.
Noah is a malicious little stinker. He's always trying to fuck something up.
But he can't. Is it intentional? You can't.
No, exactly.
I don't even want to dive into
You're just
that,
like, let's not talk about Noah. Too bad he has like a pivotal moment in this movie that we have to talk about.
Yeah, we'll be back.
I understand.
Every time so Noah finds the bad color.
Yeah.
Pretty much anytime anything happens, Lucius has to run and hold a town meeting. It's like kind of obnoxious, but
no, they all, not Lucius, they all do it. The elders do it.
Well, I feel like the elders just sit there all day.
Yeah, they're just always sitting there like knitting.
Council.
Just knitting and staring at the wooden floor.
Like every 10 minutes, we have another meeting with Lucius, my lords. Like,
geez, this guy again. I do love the touch. I like that, like, Joaquin is playing this character as pretty like boring and like repressed.
Really?
And I just
like that.
I do for one reason. I like it because they stick to it really hard. Like when he shows up in the meetings, he doesn't come in charismatically being like, I wish to go to the other towns to get medicine. It's so funny that every time he shows up in the meeting, he has a note that he has written out on paper that he reads. He has no public speaking experience. He just reads from monotone, and he's just trembling the whole time. I love that they at least stick to the fact that he's like this fucking schmuck.
Yeah, he's got one level and stays at 4 the whole way.
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly where he's at, is 4 the whole movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever. You did say that you kind of get the situation, like, you get a grip on everything pretty quick. One of my other cruises through the first 10 minutes, met all the characters and received all the backstory.
Like boom. Yeah.
Just like that. That's how quick it was. Love that. That is efficient.
He is good at that.
If anything I've learned from so far from M. Night is that he knows he has some skills that are really, really good.
I agree. I think he's such a talented visual director. Like he can just give you a good scene no matter what. And I do think love it or hate it, most of his movies, he's like, all right, let's not fuck around. Let's get to the thing. Let's get to the point. Let's get to where we need to go. Like he doesn't do this like, let's dawdle and live in the moment with these characters. Like he's like, no, let's move it along, and we'll get to that later if we need to. And that's why all of his movies are like an hour and 40 minutes tops, and like you just get through it.
Yeah, I think there's like
I appreciate it.
The very second scene you meet Sigourney Weaver or Lucius's mom, like at night. It kind of feels like it's just like a weird like half scene where he like says like one line and she's like, where you go? And it's just, I don't know, it's like without those scenes, those little like chopped up scenes, it would be even shorter. Like those are like he is straight to the point with these movies.
Yeah. I mean, I think he does it best in Signs, where like the movie literally opens up and he's like, it's an alien movie. You're like, all right, here we go.
Oh yeah. Fasten your seatbelt and you're off.
Yeah. This movie does sort of like dawdle for a little while, just in the middle. It's just kind of like, we're dancing around. There's a wedding. Like, and then there's the shit with like the skinned foxes, and you're like, oh, spooky,
Yeah, that's
you're like, okay, sure.
I mean, it's not as in your face as Signs, where it's like, oh, like every second it's getting scary, just like ramping up every like. That's
okay. So I want to really quickly talk about, because you mentioned the cold kind of dialogue and like how everyone talks in a sort of monotone, minimalist way. So I'm watching the movie with Jessica, and I would say about the 15 to 20 minute mark, she goes something along the lines of like, okay, so he obviously didn't do any research. Like people didn't talk like this in the 1800s. Like they all sound stupid. This is not how people talked at all. It's bad. And I'm like, oh, it's bugging you? She's like, yeah, it's kind of driving me insane. They sound like idiots. Like, why? Who talks like this? Like the way that like freaking anytime William Hurt talked, she was like, what? That's not how like anyone.
He has one line right off. I think it's like his set, like one of his earliest lines where it is so long and it's like, that's some heavy stuff. It's like, oh, what what have you in my pocket this fair day I should teach class better with?
That line's so much.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
there's a lot of shit like that.
Wow,
like,
that's heavy.
What? But here's okay. And like, I wanted to get this out of the way early because it's just sort of my whole feeling on this movie. She said that, and I got a fucking big old shit-eating grin on my face because that is why this movie is good. It's bulletproof. Anything you want to make fun of with this movie, if you think the fucking lore building is shitty and corny, the bad color, that's some childish garbage. That's not good. You know what I mean? Like those who we don't speak of. What is this, Harry Potter? Get out of my face. That's all garbage. The way they talk is bad. It's corny. It's underwritten. It doesn't make any sense. All of that, once you actually find out the twist of the movie, which is they are actually living in the year 2004. All of that becomes part of what makes the movie good. Because at the end of the day, what that all means is William Hurt, the history teacher from the 1980s, was like, I've got a good idea. We should build Covington, a fake 18th century city in the woods. And this was all his idea. He thinks this is like, I take it as like William Hurt, the character, is like, we should all talk like this because this is how they talked back then. And we should all make up these rules because this is the rules we're going to make up for this city. And that's why it's all bad.
Well, I thought back on that because it seemed like he was hamming it up way harder than everyone else.
Oh, yeah. He's cosplaying hard.
That's because he was the main.
He's the history teacher.
Yeah, and it's Walker.
It's his family's. So, yeah, it's all from his family because his dad was a billionaire.
Yeah, so that's why he's hamming it up even harder.
I just love.
I like that.
The movie is bulletproof in that regard. Anything you want to lob against
the color, the color. There's something about that visual that he did, just like he did in Unbreakable, where it pops. And anytime, like even when she's wearing the yellow coat and she gets it muddy,
covered in mud,
it builds. It just ramps it up, and it works. Those little devices work to build tension. So. I did like the colors. I didn't think it was childish at all.
No. I like pretty much everything, but like if someone wants to come at me and be like, okay, but really we're going to call it the bad color. Like what are we in like fourth grade? And it's like, yeah, all these people just made up these rules like 20 years ago and they've been trying to fool everyone else into believing them. Like all of the writing that M. Night does in this movie that's bad, it just ends up working in the movie's favor.
Yeah. If you want to get into the lore a little bit, that means Mr. Walker found a little opening in the middle of the red berry grove. So think of a big red circle on the outside in the woods.
Yeah,
and that's where, or maybe he planted the red.
He probably planted them. Yeah,
that's probably like it. But
he probably planted them.
Yeah, went through some work to get that all set
up.
The
one thing that the big twist at the end of the movie, we'll just talk about it really quick, is that this whole fucking cult has just been fooled into thinking it's like 1890 because all of the elders had suffered some terrible trauma. Someone they knew died or was like raped or whatever. So they were like, let's just go retreat into the woods and not like associate with society anymore.
Yep.
This is all sort of presented through like suggestion. Like they show you the newspaper clippings and then you hear William Hurt narrating about, you hear the meeting that they have at their grief counseling meeting where they all met. And so, you're getting all that through that. And then you get the scene with M. Night where he of course, M. Night is like, in case you didn't get it, let me just really clearly wrap everything up in a bow for you and be really salty about it. And that scene's not great, but he explains how this billionaire bought this wildlife reserve and, that's what they do. And there's a no-fly zone above it, so planes never fly above it. And I'm like, I like that touch. I love that. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was never thinking about airplanes, but I love that he's like, yeah, they bought a no-fly zone above it. I think that's cool.
I did like that. I didn't like, the potential lore building where he was like, oh, last year there was a problem. Don't,
yeah.
Don't be like, oh, what happened last year? Like,
right.
What was off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The one thing I've always you hated what?
That whole scene with M. Night.
It's not. I kind of like what he's doing with it. Like I like that he's just giving us a little bit more, but it is so fucking sloppy. And then of course, because it's him, it is a little annoying.
That's why I'm already kind of
and his character is kind of a dick. Like his character is sort of salty and like just don't cause any problems for me, okay?
menacing. No,
Yeah, you only see his reflection through the door.
Yeah, and he's also straight-laced when he's sending out his threat. And it's like, oh, dude, why are you like...
Yeah,
and
it's
the
a
guy
weird scene.
is like, yeah, no, it's just...
The one thing I always wanted to know is... I wanted to know who the costume designer was for those fucking awesome creature designs. Like, who did that before they went in there?
So let's do the... Oh, you mean like out of the elders that made it?
like in the elders, like before they actually set the Covington City up, they were like, okay, well, we got to get these sick creature designs. Let's call up like Rick Baker or something and get like...
Oh, no, Mr. Walker is rich, so...
Well, no, I know that, but I just want to know who did it.
Oh, I thought you were saying...
If they like bought it from like some Hollywood, like, you know, costume department or something like that. I thought
you meant like Alice Hunt created.
No, they're not sewing that shit in the woods.
Oh, you get a kind of cool scene where you see Lucius is sitting, taking watch with Michael Pitt's character.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of like scenes like that kind of just build the atmosphere. This movie relies a lot on atmosphere.
It's,
you see that pretty heavily with the Scaredy Stump. I want to talk about that real quick.
Scaredy Stump.
Because
the hashtag Scaredy Stump challenge.
Yeah. Well, no, with those, honestly, with how that town is set up, that would probably be terrifying, especially if I heard something behind me in the woods. Like, I love this wooded setting so much.
It works no matter what.
Torches in a dark woody area. I freaking love it so much.
You hear a twig snap, and that's all you need to like scare the audience. Yeah.
I just
simple. Love it.
The green screen for the Scaredy Stump. Like I remember back in the day trying to look in the woods and like see some creatures and whatnot.
Yeah.
I just remember just thinking that looked cool, but now it's like whatever. But I don't know. I don't hate it. It's still kind of
yeah, I think it's good.
That scene concludes. I think it's Jesse Eisenberg on the Scaredy Stump.
It is.
And they all run down because he can't take it. And there's this long Roger, like this is Roger Deakins right here. And it kind of goes down the hill with these kids running from the Scaredy Stump. And you get this long shot of the village and it looks so freaking gorgeous.
I mean, yeah, I guess we didn't even talk about the production design, which is like, they just built a village. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like today, a lot of like big budget movies would probably like, maybe not because like, you know, I'm thinking of like Robert Eggers' The Witch, you know, like that movie, the freaking production design is amazing in that movie too.
Again, that's like 1 to 2 shacks. This is a whole freaking village.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. And M. Night's coming off of Signs, which made like, you know, tons and tons of money. So I'm sure they're just like throwing money at them. Like, sure, build a village in the middle of the woods. Who cares?
Right. That scene concludes with them running down the hill. And that, I think this is the first time right into the creature breach.
So, yeah, I mean,
the bells go off.
You get that awesome, like, bird's eye view down the tower, like looking down the hatch. And it's really long. And you're like, okay, I don't think anything's going to happen. And then the creature just runs by.
Oh, good. And it looks big and it's red and it's fast.
I think it's such a, I wonder what his thinking was. But like the idea of putting a cloak on the creature is such a fascinating thought to me. Because like when you're introduced to the movie and they're like, okay, here's a skinned fox. Those who we don't speak of did it. There are these creatures in the woods. I'm thinking like, oh, dude, these things are fucking like feral and like they're like, oh, werewolves and shit. And they kind of are. But the fact that they're portraying them as civilized enough to wear clothes is weird to me.
Is terrifying.
Exactly. It adds like a layer where you're like, whoa, wasn't expecting that. Wasn't expecting them to be like intelligent.
Because obviously if you're going into a blind, that's awful. Like to think that something could be, you know, me thinking if I can beat it.
You ain't beating that.
I ain't trying to beat that.
No, that thing's got 10-inch claws.
Not going near it. Not a chance in hell. But I love that you're introduced with you don't even see it. You just see it from the top. And Michael Pitt's character is so scared. He just sits there he doesn't even ring the bell at first.
Oh, I know. He's like mortified.
M. Night stressed so hard to get across how scared these characters and these town people were. And that little hesitation before ringing the bell really helped out. But yeah, so he rings the bell and Lucius just goes hero mode.
Okay. This is the one scene I want to make fun of.
Fuck you.
No, it's good. It's actually
my favorite scene.
It's actually a great scene. Like I like the slow motion of it is awesome. The anticipation that is building, it's all great. But yeah, like essentially the idea is like, okay, the creatures have breached the village. Everyone needs to go to their home and like hide in the freaking locked shelter beneath their home.
Yep.
And like you got Judy Greer and Ivy. Ivy and Kitty are hanging out with is Noah there, or is there like a kid there? No, it's definitely not Noah, right? I don't know. But like there's a kid there. They're all hanging out. And
I think it is Noah in their little.
Oh yeah, because he ends up in the shed with them. The shack.
Floorboard.
He's like giggling like
hideaway.
A freaking idiot. And
he's clapping.
Joaquin is like right outside the house, like he's about to go in or something like that. And
I don't know what house he was at that point. It seemed like he was just running around the village, just like making sure everyone was good.
Right. So the scene is Ivy is like, okay, I can tell that Lucius is out there, which because like she has this weird like sense where she can like see people's colors and stuff. Like certain people have like a strong aura. Whatever.
That's where M. Night went Stephen King with it. He didn't.
You're like, okay, whatever.
I
don't think he goes full Stephen King because he never does anything with it. He just sort of mentions it.
Well,
it doesn't ever matter.
Colors, so
no. Anyway, so she's holding her hand out because she wants Lucius to come and like she's like reaching out for him, thinking that he's near. And then you get this awesome scene where like the hand is in profile, and in the background you can see the blurry figure of this creature slowly encroaching on her. It's about to get her, and then
out of the darkness.
You're absolutely right. This is a very big hero moment where like Joaquin grabs her hand and like spins her around back into the house, and they go into the shelter. It's very heroic. This is the problem I have with this scene. It's not even a problem. I just like to make fun of it. We know now, after seeing the movie The Village, that the person in that costume was an elder. So was that elder just like, okay, I can't go too quick. Jesus Christ, get in the house, Ivy. I can't actually catch you. Like, if I catch you, the ruse is over. Go back in the fucking house. Like, they're just slowly creeping up, hoping that Ivy goes back in the house because they can't actually get her. That would ruin the entire illusion.
I don't know. It seems like at this point in the movie, they're kind of in panic mode and they want to rebuild that fear. So
absolutely. But like, just that in that moment, that one person in the suit
there. Maybe he's going to give her a little slash on the arm.
We're cutting Ivy's arm off.
Or he's in the suit. No,
I just love the idea of like Brendan Gleeson in that suit being like, "You've got to go in the house now. If you don't go in the house, I can't. All right, I'll just go a little bit slower. Nope. She's still standing there."
He did the accent too. No, he sees Lucius coming. He's like, "Okay, I'll just go a little slower. Lucius will get her. It'll be fine."
Oh, thank God, Lucius got her. All right, we're good.
I was gonna really slice her up.
Yeah, he's getting really in character and shit. That'd be a great like spin-off, is like a short film set in the perspective of one of the elders in costume, like during a scare sequence, being like, "Oh God, Jesus, okay, no, run quicker. God damn it. All right, I'll go hide behind this house because I can't actually get him. Oh God,
I better go sweep the porch."
Yeah, spin around. It's a joyous occasion. Okay, so that's the big. That's like the big. That's the big like horror sequence, I guess, in the middle of the movie, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you get the great like. I think it's actually a really lovely scene of Bryce Dallas Howard and Joaquin sitting on the porch together, where he tells like before they kiss.
Yeah, they're on the porch at night. Lucius is like kind of guarding her porch after the little creature breach, and she kind of asks him, "Why aren't you sitting at anyone else's porch?" And he kind of is just like, "Stop! You're asking too many questions." Like let me be in control for once.
Yeah, he's like, "Let me flirt with you," but he can't. He's just bad at talking.
And just weird.
I think it's a great scene.
I love the set. The settings were one of the strongest points of it. Yeah. I loved it. This one was completely foggy.
Oh, all that fog.
Loved it. And it concludes the scene with them going into kiss. And right as they kiss, M. Night pans off.
Why?
I didn't hate it.
Oh, let me see him kiss. Let's see a good kiss.
Well, he does that again.
What, is he embarrassed? Is he like, "Oh no, don't want to look at them"?
Well, smooching? No. So he does it again later on at the climax of the movie, because after these two become a couple, this is official, whatever. The following day, Noah finds out.
Right.
And it's a pretty graphic shot.
Yeah. Okay. So, Joaquin and Bryce Dallas Howard quickly get engaged, and then the next scene is like Noah goes to see Joaquin Phoenix, and I think this scene rocks. This is the staging is really good on it.
Yeah, everything works.
Because Noah comes in, he's all upset, and Joaquin is like, "What's going on?" And Joaquin walks into the foreground and turns around, and then you get to like a quick close up of Joaquin. He looks confused. reverse shot of Adrian Brody, you're like, oh wow, he's really close to Joaquin now. Back to Joaquin, and he looks even more confused. He looks down and he sees that he's just buried a knife in his gut.
It happens really quick. It's like I said, it's startling.
Yeah.
When Joaquin turns around, the camera moves forward, almost like the camera is Noah and he's walking forward. I love that technique. And then just Joaquin stopping mid-sentence and looking down, and then as brutal as that is, you get like I said with Adrian Brody, this is one of the, I wish he wasn't acting the way he was, because like this part is with him like kind of panicking, walking back and forth.
Let me ask a question. Did he need to be retarded in this movie?
Well, let's not drop the R-bomb.
What? Okay, whatever. Did he need to be mentally disabled or whatever the proper word is?
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
Did he need to be? At all?
So.
Does it have anything to do with the movie? Make this character
Adrian
Brody playing more of like a squirrely, not confident man who has a crush on Bryce Dallas Howard. Everything else could play out the same. He could be menacing the town because he's or make him like a sociopath, make him like a murderer, go a different direction. Why did he have to make him vaguely mentally disabled? Like,
and it kind of makes it, because it's like,
I
know he's not
point?
Trying to make him into a villain, but he's not like.
But he is the villain.
I know, but he also kind of tries to get the audience on board with it not being his fault because he is.
But that's dumb, because that's literally.
I agree.
It's antithetical to what the entire movie is about. The movie is about, we ran away because we don't want to have to deal with like criminals and like murderers, and like, oh no, this thing still followed us here no matter what. We can't get away from this. Making him a child in mind is only upsetting. It's only problematic, because if you made him like maybe a little bit more sinister and like kind of awkward, that would still get the message across. Like the crime would still have been done. The ending would still be the same. I don't really understand why he had to go down this route. I think he could have done it without this.
No, I agree. Well, trust me, I agree. I mean, the very like you said, the fact that people are starting to die because they ran away from society. They don't have the medicines. Like, they are paying a price for this.
Yeah,
and
but they're okay with paying that price because that's not evil. People dying of sickness is unfortunate, but that's not the thing that spurs them into going to the towns to get medicine. The crime is, because that's what William Hurt says. He's like, this is a crime. This is not okay. Like, they're okay with Brendan Gleeson's son dying. Even Brendan Gleeson is okay with his son dying. It's sad, but he's like, this is what we agreed to. But we didn't agree to people stabbing each other. That's what we're running away from. So I don't know. Just the whole.
And it takes off because it's like, I don't know. Like, I feel like they spend a good amount of time trying to make it seem like, because he's so childish in nature, that it's not his fault. Like, he didn't know what he was.
Stupid. I think it's stupid.
So yeah, I mean, it's problematic.
It's problematic, and even if it wasn't, it's unnecessary.
Yeah. So
you don't need to go that far. Like, you just, like I said, make him like another character. It doesn't take away from anything.
Well.
Anyways, yeah, we can move out. We can move out of it. But yeah,
we're going to be right back to him pretty soon.
The scene that you wanted to talk about, the other pan away from the scene, is Joaquin falls to the floor, and you can see that Adrian Brody obviously keeps stabbing him, but then you move away. I think that is brilliant.
Well, that's brutal because he's the pacing back and forth is one thing, because he's like panicked, and of course she's like childish, whatever, can't process it.
Yeah.
And he's just overwhelmed, but he's able to process all the rage to act. It's a weird, I don't know. But yeah, when you do see that, the stabbing, and then there's the pan over, and he pans over to an oven or a stove, and I guess it's supposed to. There's a couple of theories online about because he does it at certain time, it's supposed to represent life and death or something.
Oh, I didn't even notice anything.
I don't know, but I'm not going to.
I wouldn't put it past him. He's not a very nuanced director, so I could see him using like really blatantly obvious imagery to like convey stuff like that. That's his bag. That's why we like him.
Yeah, he'll shove as much of that he can in there.
All right, so Joaquin Phoenix is on the verge of death. Noah has been like put in timeout, and now Bryce Dallas Howard has to go on her mission into the towns to get medicine to save the love of her life.
Yeah, right before that, you get a really cool little scene, because there's a couple times I really we talked about him grabbing her hand the one time. He does it again at the wedding. When they're all
yes, when he pulls her out of the wedding when people start screaming.
I love that his hand just comes out of the crowd, and it's just like
you almost don't notice that it happens. It's cool. It's really well done.
It's seamless, and it just makes you. It just reaffirms how great they are together.
Yeah.
But this time, after he's stabbed, she goes to do it again, and his hand doesn't come. And,
and she can't see his color.
Yeah. So it's just more good acting from Bryce Dallas Howard, like in that whole little search segment, and with the cane, and just the panic. She drops the cane and still is able to. That's all great. Loving all that. And then we're off on like you said, a little mission.
Yeah, so like, some other shit's happening and like honestly whatever, but essentially this is the scene where Bryce Dallas Howard decides, I'm going to go to the towns, I'm going to get the medicine. Those who fucking we can't talk about or whatever, they're not going to attack me because I'm pure, and that's why they didn't attack Noah, because he's also got a disability. I don't know, whatever. And I don't know, the last this
propels Edward Walker to come clean and basically
is it Edward? Is that his name?
Edward Walker, yeah.
I don't know why I never thought about his first name.
I don't know what. I do love. There's a long scene. This is right before. So he's coming clean to her. There's this long. They're walking along this fence. It's windy. He's explaining everything they've basically been up to, and I love it. I just love this freaking shot because it gets closer and closer and closer, and he's telling her, and it's long shot, and he concludes it with, "Please do your best not to scream." And I'm like, oh snap! Like I think that was in the trailer, and I was like,
oh yeah, it's a great line. Okay, so there's a couple of things going on that I like about all this stuff. So Joaquin gets stabbed. This is right after they profess their love for each other. We know William Hurt has not been able to process his feelings for Sigourney Weaver. This is all going on kind of at the same time. William Hurt, after this happens, he's like, you know what? We got to do what's right. He's obviously moved by the love that his daughter feels for this other man. And this is why he decides to kind of let her in on the secret that those who we don't speak of are not real. As he says, it's a farce. And yeah, he kind of lets her in on the secret. Like, okay, we based this off of like some old folk tale about creatures running around in the woods. But yeah, this is all fake. This is all us. And then she's like, well, what about the skinned creatures? And he's like, I think someone else did that. I don't know. And like, it just dropped that.
Well, no, I like that. Because
me too. It's
right
a good setup.
Right at that time is when M. Night pulled back the first rug.
Yep.
But there's still stuff potentially building. Like that's like you said, backtracking. I know, I like all that. He actually tells Ivy that they're fake and sends her off before he tells the rest of the elders. Like, does he do it sneakily? At one point, he holds a meeting. And
and the way that M. Night edits this entire like sequence is very back and forth. So like, you learn about the farce, then she's in the forest with the magic rocks, and then you go back and then you learn about like the farce of the farce, and then you go back and the guys leave her, and then you go back and that's when he tells them that Ivy's already gone. So obviously, like, we're jumping back and forth really quickly. How do you feel about William Hurt's like impassioned speech to the elders at the end? Where this is like the scene where he kind of gets loud and like yells about hope in the future. And
it's his dialogue in general is kind of like, I don't know.
It's what the word is? It's very stale.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If I throw him under the bus for the stale, kind of, it's because that's kind of, I feel like M. Night was going for that, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's part of why the movie works. That's why I'm saying. I'll
tell you what, I do like this Celia Weston, who plays Noah's mom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it's with her that he has a great scene with William Hurt where she tells him, you have taken the oath.
Yes.
And it's like,
no, that's Cherry Jones. That's the scene with Cherry Jones.
Oh, that's Cherry Jones?
Yeah.
And that's Cherry Jones from Science. We get her back.
The sheriff. Yeah.
Here again.
Yep.
Okay. But yeah, I love that. That was a
good scene. That
one actually might have worked a little more than.
Oh, I mean, Cherry Jones is bro. All of this is happening, and I'm just like getting really excited because Jessica is like totally buying all of this shit. She's like fully bought into like the folklore and all. She's like, oh right, because of the red stuff, right? They can't go out there. That's like going to attract him and shit. And I'm like, no, it's not. But yeah, all right, keep on. Yeah, and like, she's talking about like the medicine and like, oh my god, like they don't have any fucking medicine. I'm like, I know, but it's right over there, over that wall. Just wait, you see. So like, I guess if you go into this movie blind, it just works because it totally worked on her. Like she was totally keyed in and like never had a clue about like the major twist, which I love.
Well, so let's wrap it up, and then I'll because there's the last scene, the little journey through the trees. You get this. The creature breach was great shot. The creature coming out of darkness.
Oh, you know what? Hold on,
out.
wait. I gotta back way up because there's this really cool shot really early on where Joaquin walks into the woods and sees the berries and picks the berries, and he sees the creature, but you only see like this weird like pan across the screen, and you only see his cloak a little bit in the corner of the frame.
Excellent.
What a weird shot. I loved it.
Excellent.
Anyways, yeah. So
and he's shaken clearly because he goes right back, and because anything he does, he has to hold a town meeting, and he tells him about it.
Hey, it's important, okay?
Yeah, no, I get it. Whatever. But no, that just adds to kind of like what I was saying.
I love all this shit at
shots
the end.
to build the tension, and that's terrifying. Like that was spooky. The fact that whatever he sees makes him just back up and just go right back slowly.
Yep.
No, I love all that.
So Ivy, she gets abandoned by Michael Pitt and that other guy, and then she
dumps the magic stones.
Yeah, because she made that shit up. She's like, magic stones, like it's all fake. She just dumps them out,
sure.
Which I love. Like I love that. And she falls like down the hole. That's very frightening. Crawls back up. She's covered in mud, and that's when the other creature shows up.
She's like shaking off to try because she feels the mud on her, and she's like really panicking. Love all this is great. And is at this point the camera goes upward and she's surrounded in red.
Yeah, that's a really good shot.
Love that.
Reminds me a lot of the big helicopter shot from Signs where they zoom out and they're in the middle of the crop circle.
Yeah, it
has a very similar like staging to it. It's good.
But again, like that will only work your first time watching this movie because
but I still enjoy watching this movie though, like knowing everything. Because honestly, like even with the twist, I just like I can put this movie on and it's almost comforting because of the setting. It's it's that like kind of spooky, like villagey feel to it. I like it. Even knowing all this shit.
Well, it's just like, for instance, like that shot, like we both we agreed that we liked the zoom out and seeing all the red around. I don't know. I thought that shot is purely for the audience. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because she can't see that shit.
Right. But if she were to somehow like realize it also and experience that like fear, I'm nitpicking, but
no, you're right. There's plenty to nitpick about this movie.
You do that the first time you she like freezes and pauses and you hear like the cracking behind
and the growling.
Like, it's like this is climax time.
I love that at this point in the movie M. Night doesn't bother to like obscure the creature at all. Like it's broad daylight. And as soon as you see it, it's just in the frame. There it is in all its glory. Like,
well, because the first time you do see it at distance, it's kind of like the middle of it is shrouded in black. Like it's it's
distance. Very
and that
but it's still
shot
just
right
standing right there.
I think it's my number one. Honestly,
you love that. I think it looks so good in that scene.
It is, and because my God, I got goosebumps just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Before. I didn't, and that's followed up by one of the worst ones. When it takes off running and it's like the full like rubber.
Yeah, it's I
hated that.
Yeah, it's like maybe that's when we should obscure it a little bit because that doesn't look. Right. But I think at the same time, it sort of plays into everything that I like about it. Where I'm like, well, yeah, it's all fabricated. Like it's not going to look.
The one where she's in front of the tree and it's behind,
and it's like standing sideways.
Amazing!
That's brilliant. Yeah,
amazing.
I mean, we should say this is just Noah. Noah just stole a costume and ran away, tried to kill her.
Yep.
And then she dekes him out. She freaking breaks his ankles. He falls down a fucking hole and dies.
Yeah, that's Noah's story arc right
there.
Bye. I did like how they wrapped it up though and said that he'll he
made our fiction real.
Yeah,
because we're gonna say that he was killed.
And no, that's very clean. That's express cleanup of that story. Love all that's very efficient. Right on the heels of that, the elders take a vote to keep it going. So it's like just cruising along, wrapping up story.
Yeah, and like right at this point, she gets to the wall, and we're getting the narration of William Hurt, and we're learning. Okay, wait, none of this photo. Because you get the New York or whatever, probably Philly. Knowing him, is probably Philadelphia, but Actually, no, they say it was outside of Philadelphia. So yes,
Yep.
like it absolutely is Philadelphia. But yeah, this is like when you actually get the real fucking twist of the movie, which is none of this was set in the 1800s. It's all set in 2004. And this whole village is like a weird secret society. And I fucking love this because she climbs over the wall. What a smart idea to send her. We know she's not actually going to get mauled by creatures because they don't exist. And her going over the wall and coming into contact with the future doesn't matter because she's not going to see any of it. Like she hears the weird beep noise, but that's not enough. That's not enough for her to be like, oh, it's a different time. Like she still comes back with the medicine and they're all like, well, we'll go on with our lives and just hope that this can go on as long as it can.
You didn't see it, but right next to that station, there was a small pizza joint and she ate some pizza there. So,
I didn't see that scene.
No, that's director's cut. So,
okay,
she did get a little of the future to take back.
Well, good for her. I wonder if she liked it.
So yeah, at that point, I'm like, my jaw's on the ground. Like, I don't know what really is happening. But right before that, there, like during this whole monologue, or like even before that, a few scenes, I can't speak highly enough about the backtrack because the whole time I was thinking, oh my God, there's actual creatures.
Yeah.
Like
I never thought that.
Oh, I wanted it so bad.
Okay, here's the mistake I think he makes.
So bad.
The mistake I think he makes is Noah just puts on another creature costume. And it's like, well, we already saw that exact costume is the fake one. Like, I think it would have been cool if like Noah had somehow like maybe gotten like an earlier prototype so it looked a little bit different so that like you could have been like, oh, wait, that's the real creature. It looks way different. Like it's creepier or something like that.
Sure.
But as soon as you see him decked out in the exact same costume that we just saw, like they all admitted to being fake.
No,
I don't actually believe it. I think it's a good like feint, but I don't. Yeah.
The way he was kind of like rocking back and forth.
Yeah.
I held on to belief like, oh my God, they're actually like, I was like going to lose it if like they turned out to be some real creatures and just like, oh, it would have been awesome. But instead we got 21st century.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that pretty much wraps it up.
So
right?
That's what I'm saying. Like all the way until until the reveal that it's Noah.
Yeah.
And all that. Like I'm on the edge of my seat. Like I'm loving this movie. Like I'm terrified of these creatures. Like I'm just in. Like I thought I was rooting for them to be real. Like I was having a great time the entire time.
Just checking back in with Jessica, first time watch. She also was like fully like fooled, like thinking that it was like a real creature because she was like yelping and shit. Because that seems actually pretty terrifying. And
yes.
As soon as like he fell, like she's like, "Oh my God!" And then you see Noah's face. She's like, "Ah, Jesus Christ!" But yeah, I mean, all this shit I think like works on a first time viewer if you don't know any of it, obviously.
And that's pretty much why I wanted to start the episode with saying that this movie, more than maybe any other movie, is victim to rewatchability.
Yeah, I disagree, but I kind of know what you're talking. Like I understand, but I still love the mode that the movie's playing in.
Like you said, like first time viewing is excellent until the 180 degree twist. Ooh. But
all right, well, I mean, you got anything else that we need to talk about with the village? I feel like we talked about everything.
Yeah, I think that's it for me. Just
all right, cool.
Yeah, no, she ends up bringing back the medicine. She like goes back in and closes on her like in a hopeful future.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess if sweeping the porch is hopeful. I mean,
it's a very curious ending because like they won, they got the medicine. Lucius is gonna live. She's gonna like live happily with him. But we all know it's still gonna be a lie to everyone there. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna still keep up the facade of trying to shelter everyone to keep them safe. You know, it's a weird ending. It is good, but it's not very optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, Edward Walker's gonna go say one of his long lines right now.
Yeah.
What thou be there in the pocket that I should held so dearly to help me teach better? Like, what the hell did you just say, dude? All right, so tell me your rating for this movie out of 5 stars. What do you got?
4 of them. I'm giving it 4 claws.
I
like it. I think it's a good movie.
It 4 claws.
Oh, we're meeting at the same. Okay.
Yes. Yep. Even like it is what it is. It's a victim of the twist, but it's other than that, it's pretty damn good movie in my opinion.
I think my every time I have a hang up with the movie, it's always something where I'm like, right, but it's supposed to be like that. See? And then I just like fool myself into loving it more.
Yeah, you're pretty forgiving when it comes to
I like it. I like this shit. M. Night's a fucking cool dork and I like him.
Yeah, it's just he needs like this is the one where he's like,
this is it. This is the end of the hot streak. We were just on a 4-movie hot streak, and now we're about to slide right into a shit streak, and it's not going to be fun. Like I don't know what happened. Like the movie made a lot of money, but I think that M. Night is not very good, I think, at taking criticism, and he's kind of, there's like, I can't remember what movie it was for, but there's like really bad reviews for one of the next 4 movies we're going to cover. And I remember there was an interview he did where the guy was like, "Oh, did you see the interviews for this movie?" And he's like, "Oh, are they not good?" And he's like, "Yeah, generally people aren't really," or no, he's saying, he said, "Are people not digging it?" The guy who was interviewing was like, "Yeah, it's not getting, great reviews." And he's like, "Yeah, I don't really know what to say to that. I just like make my movies." So like, I think that he's just like always taken criticism poorly in a way that like, I don't think that he reacts to it in a way. You know what I mean? It's not like he's like, "Oh, maybe that didn't work. Let me like readjust," until way later. That's like when we get into the visit and stuff. That's when he like actually course corrects. But these next 4 movies, he just does it. He just goes for it. And we're going to get all up in there and it's not going to be fun.
Now, there's a thing where it's like, a director will do one studio movie, then they'll do a pet project. Then
one for them, one for me.
Right. Is that kind of the thing he did with The Last Airbender? Not with the other.
No, because he wanted to make that movie.
Oh, this isn't going to go well.
The thing about The Last Airbender is he loves that show. He watched it with his kid. Like they all bonded over it. And like, if you buy the fucking Last Airbender series on Blu-ray or DVD, there's like an interview with him and his kid and his wife. And they're like, "We love this show so much." He wanted to make that movie. So no.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
Speaking of problematic.
That movie's rough. Oh, God, I can't believe I'm gonna have to watch it again.
Lady in the Water next, huh?
Lady in the Water next. But let's wrap up with a couple things. Let's play the game really quick.
You want to do the game?
Yeah.
Let's do the game.
All right.
This is probably going to be pretty rough.
A lot of big names in here, but I'm not letting you off the hook so easy this week.
I went with one good week.
I almost went with William Hurt, but unfortunately, that's literally just 5 Marvel movies in a row. So we're not going to do him. We're going to do Adrian Brody.
Okay.
So we're gonna. I think you could do this. I think you got this. There's maybe one that you're not going to get, but we'll walk through it. So we're going to try and get Brent to guess the top 5 grossing Adrian Brody movies.
Okay, so obviously the first one that comes to mind is King Kong, right?
Correct. That is number 1.
Okay.
Number 1, big hit, King Kong. Number 2 is The Village. I'll just give you that one.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Because that 1 week with Unbreakable never lived. Or
I won't do that ever again. I won't do that again. Number 3. He plays. Okay, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Well, I was hoping that Predators.
Predators number 5.
Okay.
So the other 2 movies,
I actually enjoyed it.
I never saw. I mean, I've never seen a Predator. So what are you gonna do?
I know The Jacket is not on there.
No.
Okay,
The Jacket is way down there. The other 2 movies are. How to put this?
Is it The Pianist? Not in there.
No, that's down a little bit more. All right, number 3, probably maybe the best movie from this director. Someone we might cover someday. Definitely one of my guys, not one of your guys. He plays a supporting role in it. Kind of more of like he's like an indie darling kind of director. It's been in a lot of this guy's movies.
Oh, okay. What's the hotel?
Yep.
Oh shoot! Come on, I know this. I actually I like him and everything, but it's stacked cast. It's cast Wes Anderson.
Yeah, you don't remember the name of the movie though.
The Hotel.
No, that's the last name is Hotel. The last word is the hotel.
Oh no, I wanted to say Great Marigold.
No, it's
Hotel.
definitely not the greatest Marigold Hotel or the second best exotic Marigold Hotel or whatever.
No. Man, I love it. It's my favorite Wes Anderson movie.
It's a good one.
Well, it's that between that and Mr. Fox, but Fantastic Mr. Fox.
I'm glad we agree on that. That's correct. Yes.
Yeah. No, Ray Fiennes. Oh my gosh, it's cast.
I love that you're not remembering this.
Well, because it was the last one. It was 2014. I watched every other Best Picture nom, and I saved that for last just because I've always been like torn on
iffy
Wes
on
Anderson.
Him. Yeah.
And then I watched it. And I was like, oh, okay. He's
a good movie.
He's great. Now
Pretty good movie.
Now I get it.
Yeah.
No, I always say that.
All right. Well, you're going to struggle with the other one, I think. So, Grand Budapest Hotel is the movie.
There you go. Sure.
Okay. This movie, I honestly didn't remember that he was in this. This is a high concept rom-com from a very decorated but highly problematic and massively canceled director. One of the most canceled men.
Is it one of the Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve?
No, no, it's not a Gary Marshall.
Okay.
No, this is like, I really like this movie and I like this director's movies a lot, but he should go straight to hell for the crimes that he's committed.
Okay, so that's probably like a Bryan Singer type.
No. This is like this guy's a legend. Like he's one of like, love it or hate it, he's one of the most like pioneering directors.
Roman Polanski.
No, the other one.
Okay. I don't want to say his name.
Well, you already said Roman Polanski, who is also horrible. So,
well, all right. Is it Woody Allen?
It's a Woody Allen pick.
I thought so.
Now, the problem with guessing a Woody Allen movie is he makes like 2 a year for the past like 20 years. Half of them don't really exist.
It's not Midnight in Paris. I loved it.
Wrong. It is Midnight in Paris.
Is it?
I don't remember Adrian Brody being in that movie, but he is, I guess.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Because that's Tom Hiddleston, Corey Stoll, Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Like,
I like Midnight in Paris.
Yeah, it's solid.
Yeah. Good movie.
Solid.
So, I mean, yeah, you kind of cruised through that one, though. That's quick.
Oh, I should have got the Grand Budapest.
You probably should have gotten the Grand Budapest Hotel. It is grand. What can I say?
Well, I mean, I just didn't get the title. If I would have sat here for another, the listeners don't want to listen to me think.
No, exactly. And I figured you'd stumble on Midnight in Paris, but you got that one much quicker.
Go figure. It's the first Woody Allen one I always think to.
Okay.
Well, that and is it Blue Jasmine?
Oh God, I love Blue Jasmine.
Yeah, those are both pretty darn good.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk. Do you got any movies for the future coming up?
Let me just plug in because we're hacking back into the Matrix, buddy. Oh my God, Matrix Resurrection.
I wish everyone could see his face right now. He looks like a kid in the candy store, the world's biggest candy store.
Oh God, that trailer! I've watched it tens of times.
I don't know what's happening in it.
I don't give a fuck either. It's just like it's the Matrix. We're going back. I'm not even going to talk about the trailer because, like,
a young Morpheus.
Listen, okay, so that's the one thing I'll talk about. So Yahya Abdul-Mateen II is seemingly playing Morpheus in this movie. He's styled to look exactly like Morpheus.
Yep.
And I mean, I've
it's
watched
like
this trailer.
Sort of reboot, like is a universal reboot type deal that's going on. Like, because I'm down with that.
Well, okay, so here the end of Revolutions ends with Neo and Trinity dying, Neo sacrificing himself to save essentially the Matrix and the real world. And he pleads with the machines to continue the Matrix, but to give everyone the chance to decide if they want to live in the Matrix or not. And then the end of Revolutions is the Matrix is rebooted. You got the Oracle, you got the Architect, you got Sati. They're all hanging out at the dawn of the new Matrix. And that's how the movie ends. So I'm assuming that Resurrections is alluding to obviously the actual resurrection of Neo and Trinity, who are going to be in this movie, obviously, and the kind of reboot of the entire Matrix. So we're gonna get. Listen, I'm going hardcore already in like crazy fan theories and shit because I'm just like obsessed with the Matrix. When we do the Wachowskis, you are in for a world of hurt because I am going to go fucking hard for those movies. Oh my God. Anyways, but in
Neo's
the trailer,
got long hair.
Oh yeah, he's looking like straight John Wick. Obviously, like he's got the long beard and long hair. He looks great. I think he looks like he's like super invested in the movie.
The trailer looks good.
Like Neil Patrick Harris playing like a weird. I'm calling it right now. He's an agent for sure, right? Like Neil Patrick Harris has to be an agent.
Really?
He's got to be. Look at him. It's NPH. Why would you not make him an agent?
I don't know. I feel like he does have a kind of like guru type feel to him also.
I can't wait. I just can't wait for this movie. Anyways, the recasting of Morpheus, I see a lot of people are like, I don't know, maybe upset about it. Here's the thing. Okay, I've caught my breath. We're talking about the Wachowskis here, or at least just Lana Wachowski's making this movie. They're not idiots. They are so smart in every move that they make. If they wanted Lawrence Fishburne to play Morpheus in this movie, he's alive and he would have done it, and he's right there. They obviously have some weird idea for what Morpheus is going to be. In The Matrix Revolutions, the woman who played the Oracle passed away in between the two movies, and they recast the part, and they addressed it in the movie, saying like her code took so much damage, and that's why she appears to be different. And I'm honestly thinking that the reason Morpheus is going to physically look different in this movie is because his coding is different in some way.
Okay, I mean that would make sense.
And then at the end of the day, I'm also calling it like Lawrence Fishburne's going to show up.
You think?
Yeah, yes. You can't. You can't. You just can't.
Would that hurt you pretty bad if?
No, that would make me ecstatic. Anything they do is going to be good. I'm not going to be mad at anything they do. This movie is going to be groundbreaking visually. It's going to be completely incomprehensible. Everyone's going to hate it, and I'm going to just be gushing about it for like 5 months.
Well, I mean, it's definitely going to make a ton of money because
Well, I don't know, because they're putting it straight on fucking HBO Max, and every movie that's come out day and date streaming has made less money. Like Shang-Chi made buku bucks because that thing was only available in theaters, and everyone went and saw it. But Malignant came out on HBO Max same day, hasn't made a ton of money. Is it doing great? It's a stupid idea.
I just heard I just read the Patty Jenkins about the Wonder Woman. And how she was just really tore up about it. How she, it
sucks.
I mean, Scarlett Johansson, Disney lawsuit. Like, there's a lot of things that are happening from the streaming services. I mean, obviously, I think movies are meant to be seen in a movie theater.
Go see it in the theater.
People are just late. We're just getting lazier and lazier, and it's just more convenient to sit at home. And it's just
it's more convenient, but you're not watching the movie. Like, I get so upset. And
I know half the time because people will just have it on in the back or look at their phone. Like,
even if you're not looking at your phone, you're sitting in your room and like your cat's fucking meowing over there, and like the laundry's going, and you're looking at a picture on the like. When you go to the movie theater, your phone's off, or it should be, you motherfuckers. And you're in a dark room and you are surrounded by noise. It's like you can't get away from the movie. You have to watch the movie. Why am I getting mad about this? Anyways, The Matrix Resurrections, it's my most anticipated movie of the year, I think. And that trailer, it rocks so hard.
Is there a release date for it yet?
Yep, December 22nd. And I am waiting with bated breath.
December 22nd.
Yep.
All right, well, that sounds pretty good. The movie I wanted to talk about today, I'm surprised we actually haven't covered it because we're both like fans. I don't know. I feel like we're fans, especially of Thomas and Mackenzie. I know you're a big fan of her.
Oh,
but the movie that's coming out soon is called Last Night in Soho.
Oh, yeah.
It is by director Edgar Wright. He is a great director. Hopefully we'll get to cover him someday. It's not
I'd love
filmography. But for the most part, when he swings, he hits. So
I like all of his movies.
Yeah, he's very talented. So that leads me to believe that this one's going to be a hit too.
Yep, just by going off the trend.
Yep.
And then you got Thomas and Mackenzie and Anya Taylor-Joy. And
it's supposedly billed as a psychological thriller.
Have you seen the trailer yet?
I watched a little bit of it and I was like, seems like Dangerous Zone because I want to go in blind.
Yeah, this seems like a one to definitely go in blind, but it looked great.
Supposedly there's like a travels through time and takes over some of the body switch type deal.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the big thing was I've ever since The Witch, Anya Taylor-Joy has just been like,
she's a superstar, man.
Superstar. Like, I just think she's, and then The Queen's Gambit. I know you're not a big TV guy, but she was incredible in that.
Yeah,
also,
I watched like 2 episodes.
And she was great. Oh,
she's the best.
You saw her as a kid, probably the early episodes are
sure, but she's the best. I love Anya Taylor-Joy.
Right.
She killed it in
Split,
Emma like 2 years ago. Oh, Split, right?
She's great.
We'll get to talk about her soon.
She's only going to be trending up.
She is a movie star. That is what she is.
And then, man, Thomas and Mackenzie.
I
know you're
so exciting. She's such an exciting actress.
Now, which one do you think is going to have a better career? I'm just going to throw that out there because I think they both are going to have pretty good careers.
I wouldn't even want to pick a side.
Well, they're both like early 20s.
Yeah. And like, honestly, like, man.
Gun to your head. Well,
the thing is, like,
you can say one of them's going to win an Oscar, one won't. Who are you choosing?
Oh, probably Anya Taylor-Joy. She would probably win the Oscar. But Thomas and Mackenzie, like, borderline got nominated, like, in her first movie, like, for Leave No Trace. She's so good in that movie. And like, and then Anya Taylor-Joy is, the thing is, like, Anya Taylor-Joy, she's a little bit more of a high profile actress at this point because of her, I think The Queen's Gambit helped a lot. And but at the same time, she also does some weird, freaky shit. Like she was in The Witch. That was like her first big movie. She was in Thoroughbreds, which is like not a mainstream movie at all. That movie's awesome, but it is
I think
weird.
everyone involved with Robert Eggers working on that project all like got bonus points for like from like just because it's so critically, obviously the audience, but
the audience are fucking idiots. But that movie's great.
So that's what I'm hyped for. Last Night in Soho, I think it is what it is.
Yeah, November, I think.
Oh, it's also got a former Doctor Who.
Yeah, Matt Smith.
Yep. Nice. Sweet. So Diana Rigg must have been her is this her last role?
Ooh, I wonder.
I bet this was her last role.
I'm very excited for Last Night in Soho.
Yep. And like anything, trust in Edgar Wright. That's pretty much the moral of the story for
Cool, man. All right. Well, our next I know. I just can't even get excited about the next couple episodes.
Let's just skip the village more.
Let's just skip them. Fuck it. Who cares?
Oh no, we can't do that.
No, we're doing it. We're committed. If I did Praying with Anger, we're doing The Lady in the Water.
Oh, if I did Praying with Anger, I can do anything.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. So next week we're going to be talking about Lady in the Water, and we're gonna start steering right into the shit streak.
We can talk about Paul Giamatti.
Hey, actually, excited to talk about Paul. I love him.
Fascinating.
Fascinating. All right. Well, anything else? We're good. We're done.
No,
I think we're done. All right. Well, my name is James.
I'm Brent,
and we will see you next week.
Thank you.